In this lesson, we will learn how to write a semi-formal letter. Semi-formal letters are written to people whom we know personally but who are not our close friends. For example, a landlord or a teacher. We might also know their names, but we cannot use an informal tone in letter writing as we share a formal relationship with them. Let's have a look at the format for writing a semi-formal letter. The letter must begin with an opening salutation. An opening salutation is basically addressing a person. All semi-formal letters are written to people whom we know personally but with whom we don't have any close connections. So these letters must begin with dear and last name. If the name is not given in the task instructions, then we can write any imaginary name. Next, we have to write 3 body paragraphs based on the 3 task points given in the question. For body paragraphs, we have to answer each task point in a different paragraph. In the first body paragraph, we will write an opening sentence that will mention the reason for our letter writing. Then we will explain task point 1 in the same paragraph. In the second body paragraph, we will write about task point 2, and in the third body paragraph, we will write about task point 3. After that, we will write a closing sentence that must indicate a response back from the recipient of the letter. For semi-formal letters, we will use only formal phrases such as looking forward to hear from you. This phrase indicates that you are looking for a response back from the recipient of the letter. After writing a closing sentence, we will write an appropriate closing salutation based on the tone of the letter. For semi-formal letters, we will write closing salutations like yours faithfully or yours sincerely. At the end, you have to write a name after the closing salutation to make the letter look realistic. For semi-formal letters, you have to write a full name that can be any imaginary name. Again, we cannot use contraction words in semi-formal letters. For example, write the complete word such as do not instead of don't. Now we are done with the format of a semi-formal letter, and I'm going to take a sample question and we'll solve it step by step. Let's have a look at the sample question which says, you have been living in a rental apartment for the past year and want to leave this apartment. Write to the landlord. In your letter, explain when you are leaving, why you want to leave, ask for a security deposit refund. As per this question, you were living in a rental apartment and now want to leave that apartment. So this is the main reason for you to write this letter. Before we start writing, we have to identify the appropriate tone for the letter. Here you are writing this letter to the landlord and you might know them personally, but still there would be a formal relationship with the landlord. That's why the tone of this letter will be semi-formal. Also, the 3 given bullet points are the 3 different task points of this question which we need to address. To make this writing more clear and organized, I will answer each task point in a different paragraph. Before I start writing a letter, I'm going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to make a quick draft in which I will generate some ideas that I will use in this letter. We will make a draft based on the format of the letter that we already discussed. So as per the format, we need to write an opening salutation, 3 body paragraphs, a closing sentence, a closing salutation, and a name. As we are writing this letter to the landlord and no name is given, so we have to write the opening salutation as Dear and the last name of the landlord. Here we can use any imaginary last name. Next, we have to write the opening sentence of the first body paragraph where we have to provide a reason for writing this letter. As per this question, the main reason for you to write this letter is to leave the rental apartment where you have been living for the past year. We will also answer the first task point in the first body paragraph, which says when you are leaving. Here I can think of leaving in 2 months. After that, we will address the task point 2 in the second body paragraph, where we have to explain why you want to leave. Here I will add 2 reasons. The first reason, I can imagine that my parents are coming to stay with me and I need a bigger apartment. The second reason could be that I want to live close to my workplace. In the third body paragraph, we have to ask for a security deposit refund. So we can simply write security deposit refund from the landlord. Then we will write the closing sentence that must indicate that we want some kind of response or reply back from the recipient of this letter. Afterwards, we have to write the formal closing salutation. Here I will write yours sincerely, and at the end we have to write our full name to make this letter look realistic. Now we are done with that draft and we will start writing a letter. First of all, we will write an opening salutation for this letter. As this is a semi-formal letter, we have to write dear and the last name. I'm using an imaginary last name as Dear Mr. Wilson. Next, we will write the first body paragraph. I will start with an opening sentence where I will explain the reason for writing this letter, which is to leave the rental apartment where I have been living for the past year. I will write it as I am writing in regards to moving out of the rental unit where I have been living for the last year. Then I will explain the first task point about when I'm leaving the apartment. So considering my draft point, I will continue to write that I have decided to vacate this apartment in 2 months and I'm informing you well in advance, which would give you enough time to find a new tenant. Then I will write the second body paragraph. I'm going to answer the task point 2 of this question by describing the reason why I want to leave this apartment. I will explain the first reason from the draft, which is my parents are coming and I need a bigger apartment. I will write it as the only reason I am relocating from this apartment is that my parents are coming to live with me and I need a bigger home with at least 2 bedrooms. I will continue to write. Our existing 1 bedroom apartment is not large enough to accommodate all of us. After that, I will explain the second reason. I will write it as in addition, I would prefer to reside close to my workplace in order to save both time and money on commuting. I will continue to write. After taking these factors into account, I have found a bigger apartment that could meet all of my requirements. Also, you'll notice here I have used a connecting word in addition. That shows we are switching to the next idea. Such connecting words are required to show coherence and cohesion in the task. Now we will write the third body paragraph where we have to ask for a security deposit refund. I will write, also, I want to remind you about the refundable security deposit that I paid at the time of renting this property. So I would like to ask you to return it since I am leaving this apartment in good condition, which you can check at any time. After that, we will write a formal closing sentence to indicate we need a response back for this letter. We can simply write, thanks for your understanding. I look forward to the refund. After the closing sentence, we will write closing salutation, that is, yours sincerely. And finally, I will write the full name, 50 Geeks. Here you can write your full name or any other name, it really doesn't matter. So this is all about writing a semi-formal letter. With some practice, you'll be able to attempt this task. So good luck and keep practicing.